Welcome to the Activate and Illuminate podcast with Mel. I'm your host, Mel, and together we'll be chatting with everyday people living extraordinary lives. So they've learned how to activate their potential and are helping to illuminate others. So I hope you will join me in listening to their journey. And if you like what you hear, and I think you will, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. The world could use a lot more activation and illumination. Have a great day. You are going to want to hear the podcast with Dr. Sveta Silverman, a surgical pathologist from Edmonton, Alberta, who was a former surgical pediatrician in Russia, came to Canada, retrained, put herself through medical school, cleaning toilets at the Fantasyland Hotel, went on to also do her naturopathic oncology as well as an anti-aging fellowship from the States. So you could not have a more qualified doctor, but she will be here talking to me about cellular health, about prevention, about cellular activation. We will delve into whether people are born healers, and you're also going to hear about how she uses her dog as a healer in a clinical setting. So join us. It is all things health, all things activation, and she is an absolute delight. Dr. Sveta Silverman and I have known each other for, I'm going to say, almost 10 years. Sveta, you have, honestly, I don't know if there's anybody that epitomizes health more than you. I'll just give a little bit of a background story on Dr. Silverman. Or do you want to share your story, Sveta?
Yeah, probably I do, because I don't want to be, get cheesy and stuff. So first of all, guys, Happy New Year. Happy and healthy New Year. And Melanie, it's an honor to be a guest on your podcast, but it's also a joy, a joy and a pain to know you for almost 10 years and develop an absolutely amazing friendship. You build a friendship on goods and bads, and I keep telling people, when I need a friend to share my bads, you're the one to go to. It's easy to share the goods. There's a reason why I am absolutely adamant about trying to live health and teach health. It's all personal. It's a personal story to be afflicted by a loss of your family members. My health story started with my mother, and it's still inspired by my mother, who passed away from cancer. And I already was almost 100% qualified physician. I was just about to enter fifth year of residency as a surgical pathologist. And basically my job is to diagnose cancers. So losing my mom to cancer and being very, I don't like to use the word frustrated, but being down on myself, I felt betrayed. I felt betrayed by me, by what I know, going through 2 medical schools and being unable to help someone who was one of the most precious to me and still is. My mother is my angel. And I consider her passing or her crossing being that angelic motion to me, start learning health. And the thing is, this may be not humble, but my uniqueness comes from both worlds. I love and I'm thriving to understand every single aspect of disease and health. As an allopathic doctor, and as I said, double trained, being, a certified pediatric surgeon in former Soviet Union, as well as being retrained at the University of Alberta Medical School, local grad, trained in surgical pathology. Again, pathology is mostly about cancers. So, and that gives me also a chance to know allopathic or conventional or more scientific, way to cells. My thing is all about cells. And then learn health. Learn the foods, the lifestyle, the surrounding, the environment, the crazy stuff. everything I can put my hands on, whatever you consider crazy, I want to learn about it because I need to know about it to combine it and then see how it works. I'm into integrative, combinatorial, functional approach. To me, everything, what do we do? Why are we so passionate about what we do for health, you and me? My take is on health of the cells or cellular metabolism. And my take on the disease is that the best cure of the disease is a prevention. And that is why what we learn and what we do is, and what you do and what I do, is not just about pills. And it's not just about pills or supplements. You need both under circumstances, but it's about our lifestyle. It's everything in that symphony, and it has to be balanced and it has to be aligned. And as you say, again, need to learn about mental health and about happiness and about our connection to divine. And I think that's why I think we're friends. And I think from that perspective, in a sense, I think my uniqueness is because I won't say no because I'm in the box. I will say no if I know about it and learn about it, and then still consider myself that I don't know anything about it.
Well, you are, I would say, probably one of the foremost people that I know that are actively studying health. I remember hearing about you, well, shortly after we met about 10 years ago. And just as a background story to anybody out there listening, both Sveta and I are involved with a activation company that has a line of cellular activators. So when I first met Sveta, I knew she was representing the scientific advisory board for the company that we are involved with, and had just come back from one of the first foremost ever conferences in a certain part of the world. I think it was in the UK at that point, talking about this particular pathway of activation. And I, at that point, Sveta, realized that you were very unique. First of all, that you were very unique in your willingness to learn, that most of the medical community was not looking at cells in this fashion, and that we actually had our hands on something way bigger than I even knew possible at that time, because I just saw your excitement for it. And let's give a little bit of a background. So you mentioned the Soviet Union. You mentioned you were a surgical pediatrician in the Soviet Union, but tell us also what you have done to further your pathology degree with your naturopathic oncology and the fellowship program that you have completed in the U.S. Tell us about that.
Well, that's a whole thing that, the thrive to. So I got a degree in natural medicine from Pan American Institute of Natural Medicine. And then I went further and I completed a fellowship in anti-aging and regenerative medicine exactly for that reason. So now I am American board certified physician in regenerative and anti-aging medicine. Same thing, it's interesting that's a whole thing. Being a part of that company that we represent brings for me a huge responsibility. I can't just blindly promote my product. What I need to know is how this product applies again to our cells and our metabolism. And then it opens so many doors to learning and brings the validation for, as you said, what we have in our hands on. If I can say, in a sense, a little bit, we're talking about a pathway that is called NRF2 activation. And NRF2 is the master regulator of cellular health. And that's when we met, that I just came back from, I think it was the second World Symposium on NRF2 in London, England. And I was entirely obsessed by NRF2, learning everything, whatever I could learn and stuff. And in a few years now, in a sense, I'm still learning, but I kind of stopped. You know why? Because I realized I got to the point that there is no ways around it. Whether I read about NRF2 or not, whether I read about any NRF2 in association with any chronic disease or not, it is associated with basically every chronic condition. And to me, the stop point is it doesn't matter. Everybody needs to upregulate their NRF2, and that's it. So then I moved on to another point. What else do we need to upregulate that is an absolute must? But again, in a sense, my company sort of pushes me to start learning. So let's say from NRF2, I started learning mitochondria because it's a life of the cell. And it doesn't matter what do you know about it, what do you don't know about it. It matters in a sense what I carry responsibility to know about it. And what I learn is you're not going to be healthy without healthy mitochondria. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if your NRF2 is not upregulated properly. Not upregulated, it's the wrong word in a sense, balanced and working in a proper way, in a tuned up way. If your NRF2 is not normally tuned up, it's not going to happen, whether I like it or not. And that's when the fellowship comes, and that's where the additional courses come, and this kind of things, because it's my validation. Why my company? It's very, very important. The thing is, you are my very, very close friend, and we are entirely different. You are obviously extremely universal. You love universe. I mean, you love that stuff. Absolutely. And you operate, you've got a talent for energy, and you've got an enormous talent of healing people with energy. I don't have the talent. Everybody's different. But you are also an incredible entrepreneur. You're a businesswoman. And I am still a physician through and through. The only thing that matters to me is to get people healthy or healthier and educate them about this. But that's what aligns us, in a sense, with our company. Because for a physician to represent the company, there has to be a very, very deep meaning. And that's what we bring. But it's also, again, it builds relations, it builds friendship. But again, from NRF2, it went to mitochondria. From mitochondria, it built to, let's say, the eye health. From eye health, it brought me to the microbiome health, to the gut health. Same thing. It's like people don't understand. There's, through the fellowship, I learned, it's called, big word, it's called metabolome, or triangles of the organ system. So let's say there is a triangle of pancreas, adrenals, and the thyroid. And if you don't align these three organs, it's not going to work. Then there is a second triad in this metabolome, which is immune system, gut, brain. And the same thing. You can fix the brain, but if you don't fix your microgut and gut, it's not going to work. And the other way. And then you realize that your triad number one and your triad number two, they communicate. So, and that's our balance. But in a sense, without good foods and lifestyle, so on, and praying and stuff, but per se, without, in a sense, the products that bring this notion, it's not going to be aligned. Because the life we lead this day and age, doesn't matter how healthy you eat and how much you exercise, you need to tune up additionally. You need something else. It's called supplement. It's not called substitute. But people don't get it. You do need it because the earth is depleted, the air is polluted, and our mind is sick. And when we combine everything, that's how it works.
I think what you said there, and our mind is sick, and I feel like that is it's an entirely different conversation, entirely different.
I agree.
That focuses maybe even on the quantum part of it.
No, 100%. That's a whole thing, Melanie. That's a whole thing. It's same thing. You can eat organic, whatever. You can eat organic, vegan, nutritarian, Mediterranean. You can exercise. You can take supplements. If you are dark, if your mental energy is not aligned, that's it. You got to be positively aligned. You got to be connected. You got to be connected and positively aligned, and that's your quantum.
I have felt for a long time, Sveta, particularly one of our products, the NRF2 activator. This is what I feel like it does. I feel like by cleaning up the cells, it is allowing more light into our cells and allowing us to become more of who we're meant to be. Now, you and I have actually never had this per se exact conversation, but can you tell me from a cellular perspective whether what I think is happening in my own experience is possible?
It's partially possible. It's not 100%.
Okay.
Because the thing is, there's a dynamic, in my mind, there's a dynamic to the disease. So it starts with health and all the mechanisms are working properly. And then we get into stress and we continue with stress. And we don't take care of the stress. And what happens is that's actually brings the quantum dirty. Our atoms, our, let's say, anions, cations, our plus and minus is continuously misaligned, developing cellular garbage or disbalance between that electricity. Here comes your quantum. And then it keeps going and going to the cell, start developing abnormality physically. We start with quantum from micro, and when we bring it into macro, that now we can feel it, we can do the lab work, we can diagnose it as, let's say it's called oxidative stress, or we have indices of oxidative stress. And then if you don't take care of it, whether you like it or not, if you don't take care of it, it will lead to chronic inflammation. If you don't take care of chronic inflammation, whether you like it or not, your cells may or may not, but may develop autoimmunity. And then if you don't take care of your life and then oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, and you don't take care of it, it may lead to very confused cells. And some holes in our DNA or something like that, it may lead to cancer. Because the overwhelming majority of our cancers are environmental cancers. They're called epigenetic cancers. And it all starts with our quantum. It starts with something that we don't feel. And that's our quantum. And that's why we buy things, we drive fancy cars, but we don't breathe. We don't make ourselves happy. But taking NRF2 activator at least has a huge part of it and cleans a part of that problem. It does. That's a whole thing. It inadvertently does. It doesn't do 100%, but it inadvertently helps.
And do you think that most conditions are reversible?
I do. Okay. I do. I mean, obviously, there are some genetic conditions, really, really, but I also think even if there's some, not all of them, come on, I'm not getting into some, but we can maintain something because we know that people are born with some genetic defects, let's say, into their cholesterol metabolism. So, yeah, but they're not destined to have a heart attack because they have a genetic predisposition. Because if we start taking care of that genetic predisposition, yes, with some drugs because it's genetic, but then absolutely lifestyle changes and taking care of that oxidative stress and taking care of that cholesterol pattern, cholesterol metabolic cycle, and taking care of the liver and taking care of the vessels, yes, A, may be reversible and B, is preventable. Yes, absolutely.
So if someone is out there, feeling like they're not in the best spot physically, what would you say would be the first thing for people to look at in their health regime?
Diet, and start committing to diet, not to the pills. Start committing to their lifestyle changes. Diet, exercise, praying, sleep, hydration. And I don't mean hydration through the tap water.
Tell us what you use.
Oh, sorry, I am crazy about water. I am absolutely crazy. So at home, we do have reverse osmosis. However, in the morning, I put my reverse osmosis through the ionizer, trying to instill antioxidants into my water. And on top of it, I actually use hydrogen tabs or hydrogen tablets to even get it more. So my first thing in the morning is about 300 cc's of hydrolyzed water, because it's highly antioxidant, and then it is filled with some of other products that is called Axia or something that is called liquid collagen and all that thing. So that's my water. I also put my water through the minerals to energize them. I pay very, very serious attention to water. I don't go crazy about alkaline water or something. And then I also have something that is called deuterium depleted water, which is the water.
I've never heard of that.
This is the water that cleans mitochondria.
Tell us about that. What is that?
It's the most expensive water in the world, I would say. A bottle of that water could cost a whole lot less than a bottle of wine.
Okay.
So what happens is when we get dirty, or when the mitochondria get dirty, it accumulates deuterium. It's basically like it's kind of a water with additional electron on it. So it's heavy, it's very inflammatory, and it's even cancerogenic. So we need to clean it. So we drink deuterium depleted water.
Okay. I've never heard of this.
Next time you're at my place, you're going to be treated.
Yeah. So Sveta, tell us, you've said some things to me before about being from the Soviet Union and how it really surprised me. First of all, your mother was a doctor in the Soviet Union, correct? And what did she specialize in again?
She was initially she graduated as a pediatrician, and then she got retrained into rehab doctor. Here it is called physiatrist.
Okay.
And it's very hard to get into physiatrist these days here. Ooh. It's one of the most coveted subspecialties these days because it's a rehabilitation medicine specialist. And everybody needs some sort of a rehab or the other.
So you come from a line of people that care about making people feel good. Healers, basically. You come from a line of healers, correct?
Well, whether I came from line of healers, my mother was a healer. There is no ways around it. She used to enter the room and the room got brighter. She had magic about her. So that was my mother. She was born as a healer. My father wasn't a healer. No. These kind of things. But the thing about Russians, I mean, I left Soviet Union, obviously. There's ups and there's downs, there's yeas and there's nays. But by and large, again, there is a lot of traditional Russian medicine, and we graduated. Now, the thing is, when I was going through medical school and practicing as a pediatric surgeon in the Soviet Union, guys, we were not paid. There was no such thing. Doctors were the bottom on the totem pole of payment. Like, it's not like here. Here's the doctor, everybody else. There's like a doctor. So our main thing being a physician in the Soviet Union was to care. That was the job. If I would not care for my patients, for my kids and staff, my superiors will just, go walk over me. We were not paid. There was like salaries, the store worker got paid a whole lot more than me. The cab driver got paid a whole lot more than me. My father got paid a whole lot more than me. But if you go into medicine, you have to care. That's it. If you don't want to care, don't go into medicine.
It's almost backwards to what it is here. I'm not saying that the whole system is like that.
Correct.
Not everybody's like that here, but it seems to be a monetary driven care here.
No. We were absolutely not monitored. We could not be monitored. There was no money. There was no money. And the thing was, in a sense, because we lived in such scarcity of medication and stuff. So I used to have a stash for my patients. So I used to have a stash of antibiotics because I knew that I will run out of it or something like that. It was all about the patients. And then the natural Russian medicine, absolutely. There was like Russian remedies. You put this, you do this, and everybody knows. All the doctors know. And then some, and you taught this in medical school. You're actually taught this.
Are you taught any type of nutritional stuff in medical?
Well, I was the second last going through didactic system where we had 3 months of nutrition. That's it. And let's say in Russia, my whole course of pediatrics, and I really didn't like it. Well, it was about the diet and the milk and the breastfeeding and the probiotics and all that stuff. Like years and years ago. There was no such things as per se formulas. There was breast milk. You had to breastfeed.
Yeah, it's It's a
now it's
complete
completely backwards now, when they're coming back, and there was absolutely whatever science we have these days. It's like, God forbid, you have to, because of these antibodies and because of this protein and because of blah blah blah, and you have to build a newborn microgut. Basically, every kid was on probiotics.
And here that's non-existent unless the parents are starting a regime of it. Wow. Did you see a difference in the level of health?
Yeah, because those days we didn't have anything else. So yeah, you got to be healthy. So of course, level of health, because there was no such thing as a processed food. There were no boxes. There was nothing. You cook, you eat. This is the cow. This is the milk. You get the milk and then you process the milk and stuff. There's no artificial stuff. If there's a juice, that juice comes not from the powder. It comes from the fruit or from the vegetable. It comes from tomato and stuff. And the expiry date is a couple hours after. Yes, of course. But then the food is different. Then it tastes different because it's made from good food. And it's simple, you eat what you have, but you eat real stuff. You don't, in a sense, you don't need to drink 1% milk. You need to drink proper milk, like healthy milk.
What's something that you want to learn about next?
More about cells, more and more deeper and deeper into metabolism, into this kind of things, more and more about cancers, more and more. The learning curve is so steep and absolutely entirely endless. I would also love to learn more about business, because I am in business. I am an entrepreneur and stuff, and I would love to learn more and ways to do it and stuff. It's like, and I absolutely believe in my company. I think my company now has an incredible future with life-changing products. We haven't touched GLP. I mean, the thing is, you don't have to live money. But Jim Rome, I think, said money is like an oxygen. You need some to breathe. But the thing is, with my company now, it's a wave. It's like people were lucky to invest in Google 20 years ago. Like, my company is the time now, because it comes not only with, I'm afraid to say revolutionary products, because no, it's not revolutionary. It's a flavor of the month, everybody. But it's how it is concocted, how it is combined, and how it is applied to the microgut, to the pancreas, to the gut, to the brain. Like, same thing. That's why the systems and metabolome, it's all connected. It all makes sense. That's why it's so exciting. It's just not enough time in the day. Why? Because again, guys, from live healthy, you have to spend time with yourself, meaning that the wireless devices or whatever devices have to be turned off, like in the early evening, not at 11 o'clock at night. That's why you need to spend time meditating and praying and breathing, and that cuts off your business. So, okay, it's going to cut off your business. but it's going to cut on your health.
Tell us about one of the things that I've seen you light up, that I have seen light you up the most, is your adventures with your dog and how you are going into the hospitals with him.
Incredible.
Tell-
That is incredible. That
Tell
is
us
incredible.
Tell us what you see happening with people with this healing, because you've come from a line of healers and now you have this healing dog. Tell us about it.
That's probably the most rewarding thing for a conventional physician. What my dog does, I don't do. When you go to the Cross Cancer Institute, and in an hour work around 100 people and they all smile. Now we're talking quantum. Every smile gives you positive energy. It brings up your quantum energy. That's a healing thing. Healing is going to tune up your immune system. It's going to tune up a whole bunch of other stuff. So that dog puts smiles. I don't put smiles. He does. That's an incredible. Is that a commitment on my part? Yes. Do I want to drive? No. Do I want to do this? No. At the end of this hour, the satisfaction that he changes the world. Like, God forbid, when we die, nobody cares how many millions whatever. That's not the legacy. How many lives have you changed? And the dog does. It's so amazing. I was listening. There's one news channel that I watch. It's BBC. So, and BBC had an interview with an animal photographer. And he said, the dogs teach us love. We teach them how to sit and how to fetch.
Right? Yeah. Well, I think Sveta will end with that, because I applaud you. You are all about love. And trust me, guys, from people that watch this lady in action, she is constantly giving. You are all about love, all about spreading love. And I think that is why you are so successful at everything that you do.
Thank you very much. I've got plenty of flaws. And, again, and I'm also a deep introvert, and I don't like companies and I don't like parties. That's a huge minus. But again, I always feel not give. Me especially, we don't give enough. We don't give enough. Every time I watch something about St. Jude's Hospital, we don't give enough. But Melanie, thank you so much. It's such a joy. You are a joy. You're a pain in the butt, but you are such, that's going to be posted. You are such a joy because you do the same. Mel, you do the same. You probably do more than I do because, okay, I do and I work and. But what you do for your team, what you talk to every person you meet and you share. I'm so bound to what I can say, what I can share, but you always open, you always share. You help so many people, and so many people that are basically gone, and you help them, you help everyone. That's a gift.
Well, thank you, Sveta.
Okay, let's finish because I got to work.
Thank you. It was my honor.
Thank you very much, guys. Happy New Year. Much love.
Thank you.